We're going to be talking about brain balancing and hormones, and how hormones affect your brain, along with a bunch of other different things. And I'm going to try and go fairly quickly because we have a lot of information to cover. So our endocrine system actually encompasses all of the different systems that create hormones in our body. And the control center is the brain. So like there are different parts of the brain, like the pineal gland, that actually are the conductors of our endocrine system and actually tell different systems what hormones to create and when. Our endocrine system produces testosterone, estrogen, DHEA, dopamine, cortisol. It creates oxytocin and other different hormones in our body, serotonin, and also our gut health is actually directly correlated to our hormones as well. So in our brain, we have the hypothalamus that helps with hormone secretion, regulation of temperature, appetite, emotions, and sexual behavior. This upregulates our testosterone, progesterone, and estradiol, which is a type of estrogen. We have our pituitary gland, which helps with hormone secretion, regulation of hormone production, and the other endocrine glands. And also that upregulates our testosterone and estradiol. We have the amygdala, which helps with emotion processing, fear, aggression, sexual behaviors, and reward learning. So when we, have different things that reward our behavior, those help with upregulating testosterone, DHEA, and also sometimes downregulating testosterone. The hippocampus of our brain helps with learning and memory and helps upregulate our estrogen. Our myelin part of our brain actually helps insulate axons, increases speed and efficiency of signal transmission in our neurons in our brain processing, and upregulates our sex steroids and our testosterone and estradiol. So there's different ways that hormones affect your brain. I know a lot of times we've heard about like hypothyroidism or different things with the thyroid where we have problems that can cause brain fog, difficulty concentrating, short-term memory loss. If we have problems with our testosterone, we can have problems maintaining our mental sharpness and clarity. We can also have problems with either a hair loss or too much hair growth, depending on if we're men or women, and whether it's high or low testosterone. We also have hormones that act directly on our neurons of our brain, which are the nerve cells, and help with neurotransmission. They help protect our neurons from attack by neurotoxins and free radicals. They enhance our cerebral vacillation or our blood flow, and help protect against loss of memory, cognition, and progression of dementia. If we've had a brain injury, we need to have good hormone regulation in order to actually have our brain be able to heal as best as it can. Our progesterone that is produced, another hormone, has a calming effect on the brain and stimulates the brain's GABA receptors. GABA actually helps to balance the brain for different things like ADHD, bipolar disorder, and other mental health issues. After we have a child, we can have postpartum depression, and that is caused by a drop in progesterone that causes our mood to change. We also, as Tracy can attest to, when you go into menopause, you can have memory loss, act like you're having dementia, have mood swings, terrible problem sleeping, and signs that your estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone levels are declining. So how do we get into brain homeostasis, and what is brain homeostasis? So brain homeostasis is how our nervous system maintains balance, and it's intimately tied to the endocrine system. Our brain and hormones are constantly adjusting and correlating together, kind of like a dance, in order to keep us in a perfect harmony of brain homeostasis. So there's different happy brain chemicals that we have that, we have dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, oxytocin, and there's different parts of our brains that produce those, but also a lot of those are produced in our gut as well. And we're going to focus more on testosterone, progesterone, and different other hormones today. So let's talk about the effects of testosterone on our body. And both men and women need testosterone in their body, and we need them to be in healthy levels and balanced in a good state of homeostasis for each of us in order for us to be in our perfect state of harmony. Testosterone actually helps with hair growth. It helps with collagen production. It helps with, we think of it a lot of times in regards to sexual function, sperm production, erectile function, making sure that men are able to, keep an erection, prostate growth. It also helps with muscle growth, strength, and endurance. Our sex drive, and helps with our mood, confidence, memory function, and works to produce red blood cells in our bone marrow and for production of bone marrow, and also helps with bone density. Let's see here. So what is testosterone? Testosterone is normally thought of as a male sex hormone. It manages the process in the male body, such as libido, energy, erectile dysfunction, immune function, bone health, and muscle development. It helps us have the ability to think clearly, concentrate, and have good memory. And it helps us just have a good sense of mood and well-being. It also is correlated to heart health, body fat, energy levels, muscle development, and then, of course, our libido. It can affect our blood pressure, our cholesterol levels, our red blood cell production, type 2 diabetes, bone density, and heart disease. If you have poor quality of sleep, increased weight gain, mood swings, depression, it can be a sign that your testosterone levels are out of sync if you're a male or a female. So symptoms of low testosterone are the brain sending dysfunctional signals to the penis. So you have erectile dysfunction, or sometimes anger. If there's prostate problems with men, difficulty with gaining muscle, belly fat. Sorry, I'm having a hard time getting it to move screens. So causes of low testosterone. I thought this was very, very interesting, that a hot laptop in your computer in your lap can cause your testosterone to lower. That was something I had not heard before, and I'm always learning as I'm getting ready to do these deep dives for all of you. And that was a new one for me. Also being overweight, our age, being sedentary with our lifestyle, what we eat, if we have depression, stress, high blood pressure, pituitary disease, diabetes, liver disease, not getting enough sleep, some medications, and other things. Some herbs that can help improve your testosterone levels are these different things here. I'm not going to go into them in depth. Some foods that can help testosterone levels to balance, and some of the benefits of testosterone is that it enhances brain health, protects your heart health, increases energy, improves your love life, helps with muscles, improves your sleep, supports your bones, enhances weight loss, you have better moods, and a better sense of well-being. I thought this was interesting where it talked about the high testosterone versus low testosterone. A lot of times we think of hormones being low, but also them being too high can be a big problem as well. I know that it can actually have increased hair loss. Male pattern baldness is a sign of high testosterone. It also on women can be that we grow more hair in different places that aren't necessarily places we want to grow hair. And then also, high blood pressure, heart issues, testicular tumors, adrenal gland issues, and other medical conditions. Excess testosterone in men can be toxic to the liver. It can help with increased insulin resistance. You can have skin conditions like acne. Your testicles can get shrunk. You can have increased aggression. Again, we talked about the male pattern baldness and increased risks of certain type of cancer, high blood pressure, infertility, enlarged prostate gland, and increased estrogen production for men. High testosterone levels can happen when we're menstruating. They can happen during pregnancy, childbirth. They can happen because we have excess stress in our life or alcohol use. Some medications can cause excess testosterone. Other things can be if we have insulin resistance or adrenal or thyroid gland issues or some ovarian disorders. Some things that are symptoms are PCOS, acne, androgen excess for fetus, insulin resistance, coronary heart disease. So to help decrease our testosterone, these are some different herbs and things that can be utilized. So testosterone's role helps with our sexual drive and fertility, memory and cognitive function, muscle mass and bone density, development of our voice that's deeper as men go from being a child to a man, growth of facial and pubic hair, and mood and behavior. Let's talk a little bit about estrogen now. Estrogen helps our heart and protects it from high levels of cholesterol. It helps our liver produce cholesterol, helps our bone strength and density, helps our skin with collagen so that it's anti-aging, helps us regulate our body temperature with our brain, helps our memory function and libido, helps our breasts grow as we're maturing from children to adults, and helps with lactation, helps with our maturation of our ovaries and stimulation of our ovaries for conception, helps with our monthly menstruation and our body being ready for carrying a baby, if that's something that we're wanting to do. Some things about estrogen. It's the main sex hormone found in women. Men also have estrogen, not as in high amounts as women do, but it's very important for their body to have a good homeostasis of estrogen, testosterone, and other hormones. So other things that it helps with, again, we talked about our breasts, smooth skin, less facial hair, wider pubic bones, fluid retention. It helps us have a bigger butt, thighs and hips that are, indicative of being women, and helps the ovaries with the production of estrogen, and helps overall other organ function. So estrogen and progesterone support and protect the brain. They help protect and support the brain with regulating the immune system, help with mental health and brain function, learning and memory, formation of new brain cells, and the cellular metabolic process. Estrogen has a role on the brain and health as we age as women. And as we age, our estrogen levels start to decrease. And we can have different signs and symptoms from this decrease in estrogen. And it's important that we are able to actually maintain our levels of homeostasis in our body, so that as we are going through these different stages, we're not being as affected as much with hot flashes, night sweats, memory loss, and cognitive decline. Let's see. So things that estrogen helps with are skin elasticity, decreasing plaque buildup in our heart, like cholesterol, helping to decrease that. Helps with reproductive health, helps with our menstrual cycle, helps with our bone density, and it affects our blood vessels, our brain, how our body temperature is sustained, our breast development, the lining in our vagina, among other things. Symptoms of estrogen dominance, and that's something that we don't want, is we don't want to have estrogen dominance. If we're craving sweets, if we have too much weight gain in our hips and our thighs, if we have bloating, mood swings, depression, tender breasts, lack of energy, nervousness, irritability, anxiety, uterine fibroids, heavy or irregular menses, headaches, loss of sex drive, low thyroid, and cold hands and feet. Those can all be symptoms. As women, we are very familiar with using hormones as a type of birth control, and all of the different types of birth control mess with our levels of homeostasis. So it's really important for us to understand different hormones, how they work in our body, what they can do, what they can't do, and how to try and balance all of the different parts of them. These are just some things that estrogen and progesterone, some differences in them. Estrogen helps with water retention. Progesterone is a natural diuretic. It's also a natural antidepressant. There's just different things when you're on birth control to be aware of. And so you can keep track of your body and better serve it. Here's some more different estrogen versus progesterone effects. I thought it was very interesting that, progesterone helps with normalized blood clotting, and too much estrogen can increase blood clotting and decrease libido. It also can cause depression, headaches, increased body fat, problems with your blood sugar, so more insulin resistance and different things like that, increased risk of endometrial cancer. And some low progesterone symptoms are that you can have headaches, irregular cycles, heavy periods, poor sleep, irritability, anxiety, PMS, bloating, infertility, ovarian cysts, painful periods, breast tenderness, and miscarriage. Some more symptoms of low progesterone. These are some more with recurrent miscarriages, fluid retention, low body temperature, hypothyroidism, osteoporosis, insomnia, pain and inflammation, endometriosis, fibroids and cysts, anxiety, depression, feeling stressed, nervous and jittery, sugar cravings, and high blood sugar levels. So what are some things that affect our endocrine system and how it regulates hormones? Different things that can disrupt that are how much sleep are we getting? Are we getting enough sleep at night? Do we have excess weight or too little weight? Do we have different problems with our skin? How is our mood? Are we depressed? Are we, regulating our mood well? How much energy do we have? And if we're having problems getting pregnant, for males and females, there can be different things that are disrupting the endocrine system for those things. So some chemicals that actually disrupt the endocrine system are phthalates, flame retardants, phenols, pesticides, phytoestrogens, and dioxins, among others. Disrupting chemicals affect the hormone activity in the body by upregulating or downregulating the normal function of hormones. When we have like different hormones that are introduced by our environment and by our food that we eat, it can block our own hormones production and upregulate or downregulate those, and is actually very bad for our bodies. So I want to talk a little bit about xenoestrogens. Xenoestrogens mimic estrogen, but they are not real estrogen, and they cause a lot of hormone dysfunction in our body. Different places that we can get xenoestrogens are our water, by either drinking it or bathing in it, pesticides, herbicides, and insecticides. A lot of our cleaning products have xenoestrogens in them. Canned foods, dental sealants, receipts, air and dust, air fresheners, laundry products, home furnishings, hair dyes, nail polish, cosmetics. So the makeup that we use can cause, can have xenoestrogens and cause hormone disruption. Personal care products, perfume, sunscreen, some medical devices, birth control pills, toys, building materials, photocopiers and printers, and artificial food dyes all can actually have xenoestrogens that are introducing to our bodies and actually disrupt our hormone function. Here's some more some plastics, especially when they're exposed to heat or acid. It's very important that you, if you are drinking bottled water, that it not be stored in the sun. This, kind of repeats some of the other things that we already talked about, but bleached feminine hygiene products, so like your tampons and your pads, can actually cause you to have xenoestrogen introduced into your body. So I thought this was very interesting when I found it. Antibacterial soap actually acts as an endocrine disruptor, and it can lead to hormone imbalances. It actually does not, it's not effective against any new bacteria that is introduced. It makes your skin dry, and it can actually make you more prone to allergies and cause problems in fetal development. So to help with different things, it's important to avoid toxins and reactants to fix your liver, detox and cleanse, balance your hormones, and reduce stress. So when we are gestating, or when we are doing anything, when we are developing, when we are living, we have multiple different things that actually affect our bodies. I thought this was a very interesting graphic because it shows what happens when we're gestating with a fetus, but all of these things actually happen and work for us on a day-to-day basis in our own bodies every moment that we breathe. We have our epigenetics, and that is the layer of switches that are turned on and off in our body, layered on our DNA, that actually studies are showing go 14 generations deep. We have our metabolics, our hormones, oxidative stress, our gut microbiome, the inflammation that we have in it. All of these things affect our body's homeostasis, and we have all of these endocrine disrupting chemicals that are coming in and messing with the balance of our body. This is just showing how hormones are normally recepted on a cell. And then when you have fake estrogen, how it can mimic the hormones, but it attaches to the cell, and then you can't have the normal estrogen work in your body. And then there's some different chemicals and things that actually block your hormones from recepting to your cell. I apologize for the way this slide is, but I thought it was interesting. Different ways to avoid xenoestrogens are to limit your chemical exposure, meat and dairy, foods that are injected with hormones like cows and eggs and different things like that. It's very important to go organic as much as possible and to know what your meat and dairy has been injected or given. Beauty and skincare products it's very important to use organic fruits and vegetables and foods, to avoid plastic as much as possible. I have gone to drinking out of glass and utilizing glass for storage. The use of microwaves, especially with plastic containers, is really bad and hard on your body. The microwaves actually distort the makeup of food and different things. So here's just some different tips for helping with your estrogen detoxification. There's different vitamins and minerals, exercise, different things. Here's some ways to balance your hormones. Eat a good fiber diet, healthy fats, healthy proteins, green tea. Reduce your stress by doing yoga, avoiding sugar and refined carbs and processed foods, engaging in exercise, and getting enough sleep. Here's some more. Doing a liver cleanse, making sure you filter your drinking water. Do supportive things for your liver so that your liver and your kidneys are able to help with the detox process as much as possible. Limiting your alcohol intake. Using natural remedies, prioritizing self-care, and making sure you get enough hydration. We detox through getting enough hydration. We have cell creation, and that helps with, we need to have enough water and good water in our body to actually create cells to help detox toxins and to help our body function properly. Also, unplugging from our electronics. Unplugging from our electronics can help. It can help de-stress our body and give us a chance to actually reset. Breathing techniques. Using different supplements and ginger root, fish oil, different things. These can help balance your hormones. And I think it's very important that we talk about inflammation and how inflammation on our brain can cause depression and different things. And drugs can cause inflammation. Different drugs, pharmaceuticals, and things that we put into the body can exacerbate the inflammation in our body. And it's super important that we utilize different things like our Eon patch to help lower the inflammation in our body and help our body's stress response lower, that it helps for our body's memory and cognition and helps us to calm and relax. This is a study of Eon and its anti-inflammatory properties. The top two pictures are before any Eon was used, and this is a thermography showing the temperature of the inflammation in the body. And then the lower pictures are 5 minutes later, which I think is just astounding how much it lowers inflammation in the body. This is just talking about brain chemistry and balance and how it works in the body with different neurotransmitters and chemicals, how serotonin and glutamine and GABA and dopamine and endorphins and noradrenaline can all affect different brain functions and brain chemistry and balance in the body. I want to just touch briefly again on the gut-brain connection. And they're finding more and more that actually our gut creates more of the healthy feel-good chemicals and hormones in our body than our brain actually does. And we send more signals from our gut to our brain than our brain to our gut. So it's very, very important that we have a good homeostasis in our gut, that our gut is not, that we've detoxed it, that we've lowered the inflammation, that we've cleaned out the toxins, and we've regulated our hormones in it so that it can actually function correctly and give us the hormones that we need to feel healthy, happy, and whole. So I just want to reiterate, it's I keep coming back to, you know, when you start wearing the patches, start with the X39 and the Eon, and then do the gut regeneration system, because from my perspective, that'll give you the best use as far as the patch function. It also will help your body function at optimum in better ways than I can tell you otherwise. So we have figured out what we want to be when we get older, and we want to be younger, healthier, and happier. Now we're to our question and answer session. And so if anybody has any questions, I'm going to stop sharing right now and stop the recording. Can we stop the recording, please? And then we're open to answer any questions that you might have.
Just want to thank everyone for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you next Monday or Tuesday. Have a great week, and we're going to stop recording now.